All right. Hi, you guys. Right now, I'm going to be going over the Chapter 9 primary source, Frederick Douglass's lecture to the Rochester Ladies Anti-Slavery Society. All right. What I will be doing is I'll be going over what he's talking about, his main points. I'm not going to directly answer the questions at the bottom. So as I'm just going through this, keep in mind that these are the questions you need to answer for Frederick Douglass. So based off of his lecture, why does he support the abolitionist movement? Okay. Reminder that abolitionist means believing against slavery. Okay. And then what difficulties does he believe the movement faces? Does Douglass feel that the different anti-slavery sects, meaning groups, positively or negatively affect the anti-slavery movement? Create a claim, okay, using evidence to support your opinion. So by create a claim, it's saying create a stance, create an opinion, and use evidence to back up that opinion. Okay. All right. So it's always important to read this information. Okay, always. All right. So basically, summing it up, what it says is that Frederick Douglass, who is a free Black man who is well educated, is speaking at a women's anti-slavery society meeting. Okay. They held lectures by well-known speakers were brought in there. And he's giving this in 1855. Okay. In it, he discusses his hopes for the anti-slavery movement as well as the perils, the problems that it faces. Okay. So he starts off with the subject of my lecture this evening is in the nature, character, and history of the anti-slavery movement. When I speak of the anti-slavery movement, I mean to refer to that combination of moral, religious, and political forces. Okay? That's important right there. He's saying the anti-slavery movement is based off of three different things. Morality. It is not morally acceptable to own a human being. Religiously. The most popular religion at this time is Christianity. Okay? It is not Christian to own another human being, to treat a human being like many slave owners are. Okay, and then thirdly, political forces. It should not be legal, okay, for slavery to exist. So he's saying that on all three grounds right here, this is why he is anti-slavery. Okay. All right. All right. For while I am willing to have it known that every fiber of my soul is enlisted in the cause of emancipation, of freedom. Okay. All right. He's going to go about it calmly and rationally thinking the movement. All right. And how they're going to accomplish that goal. Okay. Accomplish that important and desired end. So first, he wants to examine the anti-slavery movement branches. Okay. What he means by that are these different groups. Okay, so here are the four groups that he is about to break down. Okay. So each paragraph after this is going to be addressing one of these groups. Okay, so the first one is the Garrison Anti-Slavery Society. All right, the oldest of most modern anti-slavery societies. It's a doctrine. A doctrine is going to be like their philosophy, their idea of why something should be. So in this anti-slavery society, their doctrine is that to have no union with slaveholders. Well, to Frederick Douglass, that means that gets rid of the union, and the union is meaning the country. So all of a sudden, if the union is gone, we're still left with slaves and masters that have to fight their own battles. Okay. We just can't get rid of the country, okay? All right, as their statement kind of says, all right, that we shouldn't have a union with slaveholders. Well, that almost says we should get rid of the union, all right, and therefore that would be fine. Okay. Right. He says that this idea, okay, started with it will free the slave, but it ends up by leaving the slave to free himself. Okay. And that's not acceptable to Frederick Douglass. All right. And he starts to say, well, if this to happen, it leaves slaves just like it leaves the slaves in Cuba or in Brazil. He starts comparing it to other countries. Okay. All right. So then he goes on in the next paragraph to talk about the American Foreign Anti-Slavery Society. Okay. All right. The energies of this association are mainly directed to the revival of anti-slavery in the church. So this one's focus is more within the church. Okay. It is active in the collection and the circulation of facts. Okay. Collection, meaning gathering something, and circulating of facts. Okay, spreading the news, spreading facts. Okay. And what those facts are and what they're hoping is that it will expose the character of slavery, what slavery is really like. Okay. The abomination of it, the issues with it. Okay. All right. So from there, all right, it talks about I have somewhat against society. All right. It has almost dropped the main and most potent weapon. Okay. All right. That slavery is to be assailed and overthrown, and that is using speech. Okay, spreading pamphlets isn't going to be enough. Okay, and he's saying, well, this society doesn't have anybody out there giving any type of lecture. How are they to expect slavery to end at all? Okay. Thirdly, the Free Soil Party. Now, we've heard free soil before from our reading. And free soil means, hey, this area is a free area, meaning no slavery. All right. Okay. It aims to limit the spread of it as our country grows, that they don't want it to spread to the new areas. Denationalize slavery. Okay. Well, their motto of the Free Soil Party is slavery local, liberty national. That's like an oxymoron. Okay, how are you going to have national liberty? Another word for liberty is freedom. How are you going to freedom nationally, but have slavery locally? Okay, as Frederick Douglass points out, that leaves the slave in his fetters. Fetters are chains. Okay, that he would still be the possession of his master. So it doesn't even begin to question freedom in the States. So that one's out. Okay. And lastly, we have the Liberty Party. Okay. Now, the way I read this is kind of Frederick Douglass's favorite party. Okay. And why he says that is because this party believes that, it denies that slavery is or can be legalized. It asserts the power and the duty of the federal government to abolish slavery in every union. So the Liberty Party wants to go about it a very legal manner. They're not just bringing attention to the problem. They want to make this illegal to do, and using the federal government, okay, using Washington, D.C. to abolish slavery in every single state. Okay. He likes that the Liberty Party has pledged to continue the struggle while a bondman in his chains remains to weep. Okay, what that means is they're willing to, as long as a slave is there in his chains, they will continue to try and fight against that. Okay, they want no slavery for man under the whole heavens. Okay, he's saying, and what after that, Frederick Douglass is saying, our anti-slavery organizations must be brought back to this idea, okay, to get rid of slavery in this entire country. Okay? And if they don't come together for that reason, these organizations will be scattered and left to wander and die in the wilderness. If we don't come together and work together, this isn't going to work, is what Frederick Douglass is saying. Okay. Now, this last part, okay, basically it's his buildup. It is the, hey, we're down and out. Things aren't going great, but you know what? We're improving. We're getting bigger. Okay, we're getting bigger and stronger. The anti-slavery movement is starting to grow too large. Our friends too numerous. Okay, 1,000 strong men might be struck down, and its ranks still invincible. Okay, so it's like go coach. Okay, speech. All right, saying that the words of Harriet Beecher Stowe, who wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin. We read that in our textbook. That lit a fire within people that not even the waters of the Mississippi could put out. Okay? The present will be looked to by after coming generations as the age of anti-slavery literature. Okay? When a picture of a Negro on the cover was a help to the sale of a book. Okay? What he's saying there is books like Uncle Tom's Cabin are going to be looked after by coming generations. And he's right. Okay? We still talk about that book. Okay? He's saying that this is such a big deal. Okay? We are making a difference. Things will change. We need to keep going. Okay. All right. But we need to work together, because if the anti-slavery movement shall fail now, it will not be from outward opposition, outward problems, but from inward decay. Okay. All right. Basically, he's saying go. All right. Go out there. Because a slave is mankind. All right. A slave is mankind. He's human just like you and me. All right. Hopefully that helped you out understanding what he's talking about. If you have forgotten, please make sure you think about how would Frederick Douglass address the Black Lives Matter movement today? How would he go about discussing that? All right.